tayo po ay nagbabalik dito sa Usapang Bayan at kasama pa rin natin ang President and CEO ng Omnipay, si Mr. Simoun Ung, at saka ang kanilang Chief Compliance Officer, Mr. Stephen Cutler. I think Steve was mentioning earlier about the microchip in the card, right? So this is a sample of a microchip there.
That would be here.
That small thing that looks like looks like a microchip. So I think that's going to be the standard that the central bank is
Yes.
enforcing at the moment to reduce the level of fraud and but that also adds functionalities to the card that would not normally be available on a magnetic stripe. So Simon, what can Omnipay do, or what has Omnipay been doing so that more Filipinos can be part of the financial system and be what we call financially inclusive?
Yeah, I think maybe one of the first questions we need to address is why the push for financial inclusion. And let me give you an example why we think it's important. For us to pay a bill today, we may pick up our phone, go to our laptop, hit a few keystrokes and pay our water bill, our Meralco bill online. But for the less privileged sectors of our society, that means taking time off work, commuting, lining up, and then paying, right? So even if we charge a small convenience fee to our users to be able to pay online, what we want to be able to do is provide them choice. We don't want to play Big Brother and say, this is how you must conduct your life, this is how you must pay. And so what we do as Omnipay is try to open up as many channels, as many choices as possible. If you are one of our card holders and it's your day off and you want to line up because it doesn't cost you the 20 pesos or whatever, then it's your choice. But if your mother needs medicine and you need to send money now, paying 35 pesos through one of our card cash in cash out agents isn't a hardship, because you need the immediacy and the urgency of the transaction. At the end of the day, our job as Omnipay, we see, is to offer the cardholders choice, give them the information they need to be able to make an informed decision, and then let them decide. Because even for the less privileged sectors of our society, they do financial management. They may not call it budgeting. They may save money for tuition in a bottle or in a purse, but it is financial management. They may not recognize it as such, but that's one of the reasons why it's important for us to be able to reach out to these less privileged sectors of our society. And so the way we try to do it is through partner organizations, typically somebody with a large retail base. Now, if you are one of our innovative pilots was with the city of Bacoor in 2012. What we did there was we worked with the city mayor and the city government, complete support from the city council, and we carded every single resident in that city. If you're a resident of the city of Bacoor, you have our card. You may not know it's an Omnipay card, and you may think it's a City of Bacoor ID card, but it is an Omnipay payment card with payment features. And we worked with the city there. Our advantage over most industry participants is that we built, own, and operate our own back end, our own physical infrastructure, our own card system, our own payment gateway. This was all built in the Philippines for the Philippines. We didn't buy an off-the-shelf first world solution for the Philippines. We built it. So a lot of what we can offer is because we built it ourselves for this market. And so what we came up with for the city is actually 2 wallets on a single card along with the ID functionality. So not only do you now have your picture in a plastic card, unlike our driver's licenses, you also have payment functionality on it. We have 2 wallets on it right now. One is a citizen's own wallet, so that's your money. The other wallet is funded by the city government. So if you qualify for scholarships or you have medical assistance, funeral assistance and the like, the city can now fund it onto the card and do away with all the fixers, all the lineups. So once you apply, they approve, it's on the card, then you're done. Then you take the card and use it at the funeral parlor, at the clinic, and pay with the card directly. That also provides the city the benefit of now being able to track. The city can then, if COA asks, they can tell them who used it, how much was used, where it was used, what it was used for. And then, so that second wallet for government disbursements, we also restrict. You can't withdraw cash, you can't use it at casino, you can't use it at the pub, you can only use it at defined establishments approved by the city. And then we provide the back-end reporting then to the city so that when COA comes for their annual audit, all the reports are ready.
Sir, since you've mentioned financial management again, the youth nowadays, better known as millennials, have this YOLO kind of mentality. You only live once. So most of us want to travel, buy the things that we want, whether we use cash payment or card. You know, some are seeing cash or cards like that as a temptation. What can you advise the youth of today to prevent, you know, impulsive buying and impulsive decisions para wala namang stigma sa mga
Right.
cards like that?
I think one of the self-disciplining aspects of the card is that it's prepaid. You're not going to get into debt. Whatever money is on that card is already your money. So you can't spend beyond your means, at least not on the card. You could do that with a credit card. So you can spend money you don't have yet. But on the prepaid card, it's money you already have and it's on the card. And as Steve mentioned, that extra step of entering your PIN or having to sign another slip, it makes it, you have that second thought to make sure you reduce the risk of buyer's remorse, right, for that impulsive buy. That said, if you do travel, it's also a lot safer. You're not bringing a lot of cash with you. You can use the card when you need it, as you need it, and it's not bringing around a lot of cash all the time.
If I can add to that, though, from another perspective, when you have a card that has an international logo on it, such as a Union Pay or a JCB, the cards that we issue, you'd rather spend that than you would cash. Because when I'm out with my friends, I can say, hey, I've got this, I'll put it on my card. And everybody goes, you know, whoa, very cool. And you know, there's a prestige issue for the millennials to be able to use that card, and then you have a little bit of a better grip at the end of the month on what you've spent.
Well, I think especially when you're traveling abroad, the maybe not too common advantage of that is that sometimes when you pay out cash, it could be fake. You know, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
they could be bogus bills, and you wouldn't
Counterfeits.
know. I
That's
mean, you're
right.
not familiar enough with the local currency to say it's genuine or it's not. But if you're carrying around a debit card like an Omnipay card, then that would mean that there is no chance for that, right?
That's right.
In our case for Omnipay, the cards can be remotely loaded, meaning to say that let's say your mother who's an OFW in Hong Kong can load the money onto that card without physically having the card with her, but the withdrawal of the cash from that card, do you physically need to have the card with you to be able to withdraw?
Yes, for the most part, you have to present the card at, let's say, an ATM, right? Otherwise, the ATM's not going to wake up to do the transaction. Although there are some systems available now to do cardless cash withdrawals from ATMs. But that will require the ATM providers to reprogram their ATMs. Because typically today, the insertion of the card is what wakes up the ATM. Otherwise, it's in hibernation mode. So there's some reprogramming that will be required. But if you go to our agents, of course, you present the card, you enter the PIN, and that's part of our security checks to validate the authenticity and the identity of our cardholder.
So it's really like an ATM card without the need to have an account opened with the bank that issued the ATM card.
And you can also take it to, let's say, SM, shop at the grocery. You don't have to withdraw cash first to go shop at the SM. You can go to the counter, get your groceries, pay with the Omnipay card directly at the counter.
If I can, the difference between an ATM card and the cards that we issue being prepaid is that with an ATM card, money is in a bank account someplace. And generally speaking, say for example, if I am an employee and I have an ATM card that my employer has given me, the employer maintains the bank account and all of the money stays in the employer's account. They're the ones that are making the interest on my money that stays in their account. With a prepaid card, I control where the money is. It's all onto my account and I control it. So it's under, I feel much safer about that because it's with me.
Yes. Typically, how would your customers be able to load up their Omnipay card?
Typically, we see a lot of loading done by employers or our co-brand partners. And it really depends on what channels our partner organizations want. So with the Philippine Airlines card, for example, all their ticket offices are also their loading stations. So you can bring Chinese renminbi, Japanese yen, Philippine peso to the Philippine Airlines ticket office, hand it to them over the counter, and they'll load it onto the card. But it really depends on the organization that is running the card program. We position ourselves more of an infrastructure enabler. So we allow it has to fit the business objectives of our co-brand partners. That's why with our 300 odd different card programs, none of them are identical. Every single one is different. So a lot of them may be for disbursement and they focus on that. Some of them may be for payouts. So it really depends on the requirements of that partner.
Well, we only have 1 minute left. Maybe we can give you, Simon, a minute to have a few parting words to your Omnipay clients and future Omnipay clients.
Well, for us, I think we see ourselves as part of a larger effort led by the central bank as an industry to be able to push forward this financial inclusion. This is going to be extremely important for the growth of our country as a whole. We have a young population. We're in a demographic sweet spot right now. And our challenge then is to work with our partners to be able to develop products that are going to be relevant for them, for the future generations as well as the current one.
Well, one final question, Simon. Since you were suggesting the national identity card, can an Omnipay card be something like that?
That would be up to Congress, but yes, definitely
It would
you can
have
help
the
them with
technical
that.
capability
The
for
technical,
that.
Yes, we
All
do.
right. At yan po ang isang makabuluhang diskusyon kasama ang President and CEO ng Omnipay, Mr. Simoun Ung, at ang kanilang Chief Compliance Officer ng Omnipay, Mr. Stephen Cutler.
Thank you very much for gracing our program. Gentlemen, maaari niyo po kaming i-follow at i-like sa aming Facebook page, Usapang Bayan. Ako po si Rach Marquez.
At ako po si George Chua. Samahan niyo po kami muli sa mga susunod nating episodes dito sa Usapang Bayan.